Okay, once you finish your chain of 183, we are going to half double crochet back across. And so we're going to start that at the third chain from the hook. You can either crochet into the top of the V here, or I like to turn it over and crochet into the backbone. So that's a personal preference. You can choose either one. But again, we're going to go into the third stitch from the hook. Okay, so then to do a half double, you're going to yarn over, you're going to insert your hook into the stitch. Okay, we're going to yarn over and pull through, so you'll have 3 loops on your hook, and you're going to yarn over and pull through all 3. I generally like to put a stitch marker here, so let me grab a stitch marker real quick. Okay, so here is our stitch that we just made directly behind the hook. We're going to put our stitch marker in, and so that is number 1. We're going to do that all the way down the chain. So again, we're going to half double crochet. So you yarn over, insert your hook into the bump, yarn over and pull up a loop. So you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. Going into our next bump, we yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. Okay, again, yarn over, insert our hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. We have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. I'm going to show you one more time. So we'll yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull up a loop. We have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through all 3. So again, you're going to do that all the way down the row, and this should give us a stitch count of 181 stitches when we're done. So half double down the chain and then count your stitches, and we'll start on the second row. Okay, so once you've finished your row of half double crochets to get us started with, you should again have 181 stitches. And so what we're going to do is change colors here. We're going to be changing colors every row unless otherwise stated by the pattern or something. And to do that, I'm going to be using a random spinning wheel. But again, these are the colors we're working with. So we have our maroon, our green, a whitish linen color, this turquoise color, and then a multicolor one. So I'm going to spin the wheel to see what color we're working with next. Okay, here we go. And it looks like our next color is linen. To do our color changes, what I'm going to do for each row is change colors on the last yarn over of the stitch. So in this case, we'll yarn over on that last stitch of the row, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 on the hook, and this is where we would usually yarn over and pull through all 3 to finish this half double crochet stitch. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and snip my yarn, and I'm going to bring in our next color. And so all you have to do here is leave a little tail so you can weave it in later, wrap the color around your hook, and pull through all 3 stitches like you would on a normal half double crochet. Then you can kind of pull the tail to tighten this up a little bit, find this other tail, and now you have the yarn on your hook to start crocheting with. Okay, so we have our yarn color changed. Now we need to see what stitch we're doing next. So again, I'm going to be using this book, and we're going to be picking stitches at random. And so I'm not going to show the stitches per se because I don't want to infringe on any copyright things. But what I will show you is in this table of contents how the stitches are broken up so that we can kind of have some variety in the blanket. I am going to first spin the wheel to pick between these different stitches, stitch types. So basic, shells, clusters, spikes, raised. I'm not going to do any mesh or trellis patterns because again, this is a blanket, so I don't want a bunch of really big holes in the blanket. And then I will do some crossed interlocking stitches, and then ripple and chevrons. So I'm going to spin the wheel to see which of these groups we're going to pull a stitch from. And it came up with shells and fan patterns. So then we'll go to that section of the book, our shells and fan patterns. And in this section, it goes from stitch number 70 through 118. So I'll spin the wheel for the number 70 through 118, and whatever number it lands on, that is the stitch that we will do. This is the stitch that it landed on. It is called Picots and Arcs. And so we're going to give this stitch a try to see if I can make it fit on the blanket. Things that will disqualify a stitch from our blanket is going to be stitches where I cannot make the stitch pattern work with 181 stitches, or if it spins on something that I can't figure out because, you know, I'm a decent crocheter. I'm not an expert crocheter. Or if it's something that I missed and it's very holey, because again, I don't want our blanket to have really big holes in it. Or the last thing is if the pattern repeat for a stitch is too many. So let's say you need, you know, 6 or 7 repeats, like row repeats for one pattern or one stitch, that would take up a huge chunk of our blanket and we wouldn't get as many stitches in it. So that would also disqualify a stitch. So we're going to move on to the picot stitch, or the picot and arcs stitch. And so meet me back here and we will see if we can fit that into our blanket.